Alright, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 motherfucking 2. This is what we about to do. This is about what we about to do. You feel me? You feel me? Oh shit. Oh shit. Go back. Damn. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. Alright. Alright, y'all, we finna check what this black Boule explain. Because I don't know nothing about this shit, man. You know anything about it?
That's my first time hearing it today.
About a black society?
Especially when they put Kobe in the mix.
Yeah, I know. They got a whole bunch of people just talking down on Kobe. We're going to start it out with this guy there. This life is going to be a good one. It's 14 million. Yeah, feel me.
The modern black Boule. Jay-Z, Barack Obama, Kanye West, Puff Daddy. You name it. We have all their names, but they don't want to go by that title. No, they want to go by the social justice warriors that they are. They want to go by the freedom fighters. So let's talk about some things here today that might open your eyes to what's really going on. Now, what do we mean by they being the black Boule? Most people misunderstand the black Boule. They want to think, oh, just the elite rich people and they're working for white people. Actually, they're not. They're working for own self-interest. They're exactly the same people that was back in Africa that sold blacks into slavery. Don't want to believe me? That's on you. The truth of the matter is this. Anybody that made it in a certain location then turns around and tells you you will never make it works no different than who? You figure that one out yourself. The people that don't like you. Here's why I will call them the black Boule of the modern times. But now, mind you, I understand that the black Boule originally came out in 1904. We get all that. Thank you, Mr. Mickey. However, it goes back way further than that because of a mindset. When you go back to tribal Africa, the tribal leaders, when they didn't like a certain person, sold them off. Sold them to who? Arabs, Europeans, and so forth. Spaniards, Spanish, French, you name it, anyone came by, y'all want this one, take that one. I don't want him here. Now, they will also try and point you to somebody else. It's not me, it's the people that bought them, so we blame them. This is exactly what they do. Why? Because they're not wanting you to look at what they're doing. You've seen magicians, sleight of hand people, this is over here, and then he does this number here, and all of a sudden it's over here, but he wants you to keep looking at this hand because it disappeared, but it's over here. That's what they do. Let's break down Jay-Z for a minute, and I'll prove to you that he's part of the Boule. Jay-Z got his start doing what? Selling what? Drugs. Destruction of the same people that he's trying to say he's trying to lift up. His songs, what do? Promote death and destruction with the same people he's trying to do what? Lift up. By blaming somebody else. And you won't look at him. You won't even point your finger at him as being the problem. No. He's the one bringing attention to it. No, actually, he's the one that's actually instigating it. That goes for nearly every single one of these elite black people here, at least in America. What about Barack? Barack came to the forefront, and all he could talk about was race relations, this and race, and how we have to make sure that whites pay their fair share. Blacks are not the problem. We have been burdened.
I'm recording.
Meanwhile, every one of his laws did what to black people? Do you see a pattern emerging? The destruction of the black family. And the eradication of most things that help black people. But he was a leader, right? Kanye, what about him? Exact same thing as Jay-Z. You don't find it kind of weird that the same people telling you that they want you to prosper are the same people pushing a message to you that destroys you? Now, are you not aware that that is exactly what the Boule did? You see, they were elite. And the less people that can be around them, the more power they can have. They want you to have the air of superiority and make you believe that, yes, look at us, we've made it. But they won't tell you how. You know why? They won't tell you how because they don't intend for you to get to where they are. If you got to where they are, they've lost some of their power dynamic. They can't afford that. So now they have to point you to somebody else to blame. Look away from my money. Don't even know. No, don't even know. And this is what
I know about the black Boule.
Have you heard this one before? Just because they made it doesn't mean that every black person's going to make it. Who do you think was that? Trust me, it's not white people. That's the Boule. Or how about this one? No matter how hard you work, you'll never make it more than that person. You know who does that? The Boule, not white people.
You got that put on the back
This
of
is
it?
exactly their plan. And they've strategically put a lot, and if you watch it, a lot of rich black people posing as though they were extremely broken, poor, and they are so tormented by another race. Tell me, where was Oprah ever tormented by another race? Prove to me where. You can't. You know why? Because it never happened. They want to say this stuff in order to make people identify with them. But in reality, there is no identification with them because you will never get to where they got to, because if you keep listening to them, you will stay where you are. Meanwhile, when there are people that are actually coming to you and tell you this is how you make it out, you will look them dead in the eye and say, I can't be a one-off, because you bought into the Boule system. Now, for all intents and purposes, people are going to come and say, white people started, white people, okay. Then you keep believing it. Each of us has the ability to choose. Okay? Just because someone comes and tells me I can't does not make it so. Now, in their minds, they may think I can't, or they don't want me to. But in my mind, if I really want something, I'm going to work for it. How do you think you came up with the term hustling? Why is it that it's always attached to something negative, though? Because it's been pushed that way. Every song that speaks about hustling speaks about doing something illegal. You don't find that kind of odd? And then they'll turn around and tell you that the cops are the problem. That's Boule behavior.
I've been trying to figure out a way to sum it up so you understand it. When I see a cop car, I don't feel safe as a black man. When I see a cop car, I get scared.
People don't want to hear it, though. And it's okay that you don't want to hear it. The truth is a very bitter pill to swallow, and it's large. It could choke you sometimes, and in some cases it gives you indigestion. But when you're done ingesting, your entire being will feel so much better that you'll think to yourself, how did I ever think like that before? People like Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these top-notch rappers and Kanye West and all these elite black actors and the world and Barack Obama, they have no intentions of you getting to where they got to, because the way they got there was by keeping you distracted on some kind of enemy that has nothing to do with you. They don't even care what you're doing. They don't care anymore. Now the ones
Y'all was
who are
hooping?
really big up, let's go back to the white people real quick.
Say we're gonna go hoop in the morning.
The ones who are really up there
1 o'clock.
are more
Okay.
than happy
Work.
to be friends.
That's what I'm
with
talking
them.
about.
You
Gotta
don't
go get
find
that
kind
bread.
of-
Gotta get that bread,
They all
goddamn
seem
it.
to be craving the company of that group. We want your awards. We want to live in your neighborhoods. Why? Because they're proving to you what one big thing: they have power. You see it as something as, man, they finally made it there, and even when they get there, they're not wanted. No. It's the evil thrives on evil, and the same, what is it, birds of a feather flock together? Let me give you a little break. If somebody was really racist, white people, really racist, okay? Do you think they would actually give them ownership of anything? Let's go back to slavery days. Even the house ones did not have ownership of anything. They were allowed to dwell within the house of the massa, but they were never given anything of their own. So how are you going to make the equation now that the racist white people are just giving black people this much money? They're not. They acquired it by a different means, the Boule system. Because it has not changed since tribal Africa, with the rich ones there too. Now y'all may not.
Hello, it's Lady T. Welcome. Come on in, everyone, to another great episode of Royal Black and Elite, where we meet to talk about Black excellence, different people in the Black community, and I just try to come from a different perspective. We often hear about the side that's subjugated, but there's also another side, the elite side, business people and people who are inventors, and I try to share all that here on my channel. But then we go into other conversations about history, and one of the histories that has been most hidden in the Black community is the history of secret societies. Now, people have always been intrigued by the society, a group of wealthy elites who pull the strings of the world from behind the curtain of anonymity. These secret societies have been around since the 13th century. And we, as a community and as a society, have only begun to find out about these people working behind the shadows is because members have come out and wrote books, and information has started to spill out over the years. But even some of their membership wrote, we don't know who they are since the 1980s. And so they are indeed still secret. But I thought you'd find it interesting to know that there is also a Black secret society. Now, most societies that kind of everybody knows who is, beginning with the Skull and Bones. The official name of that organization is Phi Beta Kappa. And very powerful people are a part of Skull and Bones. And they say the organization we're going to talk about today in the Black community is formed after the Skull and Bones. And we've also heard of the Freemasons, very powerful people involved with the Freemasons. And as you see here, it's been around a long time, and even new people are a part of the Freemasons. And then what about the all mysterious Illuminati, right? We've heard of the Illuminati in movies and in books, articles, on YouTube, and what they do behind the scenes. I mean, all the ritualistic things, sacrificing things, so doing seances, and society by its nature has a very mysterious and actually nefarious underpinning, and has always been a part of our society and the decisions that are made from a secret place that no one ever knew about. In the Black community, this organization is called the Boule, or Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. It was founded on May 15, 1904 by these 6 medical professionals. And it was really founded not to uplift the Black community, but to create a conclave, if you will, for rich, wealthy, and usually mixed race Americans who wanted a society all themselves, because Skull and Bones, which was a white organization, would not let them in. Now, it's not like fraternities like we know, the Divine A's, aka in college. So it's a lot different, but I didn't know anything about the Boule, and nobody told about the Boule when we first got started. So this organization is way more elusive. It's way more powerful. It's filled with people that make the decisions for the entire world. Or so that's what people say who have done research for many, many years on these organizations. Now, before we understand really these organizations, we need to understand the social construct of what was going on during the late 1800s, early 1900s in the Black social class. So there were the descendants of slaves. Everybody was the descendants of slaves, but the ones who were still living in the slave experience, who had to work at the plantation even after slavery was over, and they became sharecroppers. This was more of the bottom of the socioeconomic level for Black people. Then there was a contingent of Black people who were getting work in factories. And so this would be considered kind of like middle class Black people, and they were very proud, beautiful families during this time. Then there was a contingent of mixed race people. Now, since the beginning of slavery, white slave masters had violated their slaves and had children with them. So there was a contingent of Black people who actually looked white, and even some even like a pass for white. Some of them you couldn't even tell they were Black. And that's really where the wealth in the Black community began. The children of the slaveholders were educated. They created really an enclave for them to live in and to kind of gather all the wealth and concentrate the wealth within their own community. And they became the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians of the time. And that's what...
So like you said, this is a mixed breed secret society.
That's what it looked like, huh, bro? Boule. It's supposed to be LeBron James, Kobe, Obama. Goddamn me, Diddy, all of the black elites, Jay-Z, all of them. Look at that. You say Jay-Z, yeah, they're part of it.
I just said I was confirmed, but not so they making a race of elite black folks, or that's a race of
They're making what?
There's a race of elite black folks. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
And then they saying most of them half breeds like Obama and shit.
What's your breed? I mean, what's your people? Half breed or? Yeah, what you mean? Like, they just got elite blood, like they like regular old niggas, but it pop happened as a like that. What you mean?
Nah.
So what you mean?
They, kind of something like that, but no, nothing like that. It is connected to Rockefeller, but they started out a connection to the Rockefeller as the aid. Well, not the aid, as the help, not the help. What did they say? It was like a
code. I said they were like I was listening. They were saying something like they were like the Masons. And they would have to be a Mason something before you can even become one of them.
I know, but it was like to the king. Like when he's saying that they made up of people that give advice to the king.
I didn't hear that part.
You didn't hear that part? Are you smoking? That's what I've been smoking on.
Woo! Woo! That was good. I would have had that under though. I bet he ain't get two of them.
Alright, man. It's good for this one now. I got enough information on that Boule Black Society, the Black Secret Society. Yeah, man. You think you started there? You're a part of it?
We're being a coach too.